चलो भाई, बस उस स्टार्टिंग में उसने कुछ बोला था ना कि मैं यहाँ पे रहती हूँ, आ जाया करो, वहीं पे जाएंगे सीधा। भाड़ में गया ये, देख के आएंगे सीधा। चलो तो कहाँ पे रहती है? पेशेंट रूम नीचे ही है ना? पेशेंट रूम नीचे ही है। ये बाहर की साइड आ गया मैं तो दिखी थी एक बार हमें। अच्छा इस साइड यही कहीं तो दिखी थी। कौन है? अननोन। हाँ ये रीडर
How long's it going to take to fix me properly? A month? A year?
Finally, you've returned, Doctor. Did you find anything of value?
Yes, nurse.
You've worked your first miracle, Doctor. Now, this patient here needs immediate treatment.
Duty calls. When the storm has passed, I'll show you how to mix the remedy yourself with the same basic ingredients.
Many thanks, Doctor. When you've finished, you ought to report to Dr. Swansea in his office. He's been looking for you. Seemed pressing.
Disease decreases the blood quality of citizen. Use the correct medicine to heal them. Speak to the patient in the room behind Dorothy to check his medical status. Okay.
Always knew the words to calm the children, Helen. As for me...
Good evening. I'm Dr. Reid. Can I help at all?
No,
Really? Why are you here then?
I don't want to talk. My throat hurts too much.
I suppose that this pain is the reason you're here. Is someone taking care of you?
Yes. And no.
Could you at least tell me your name, sir?
Mortimer. Mortimer Goswick.
Press E to check medical status of the citizen.
Do you need any help?
I'm afraid I may, sir. I don't mean to be a burden.
I will see you later.
Mesmerize. Our details. Mesmerize क्या होता है बे? इसका मीनिंग सर्च करने दो एक सेकंड। Mesmerize का मीनिंग क्या होता है? Meaning of mesmerize.
Meaning of mesmerize: to hold somebody's attention completely.
mesmerize मतलब उसको वश कर लेना। ओके, तो अभी 1 है, जैसे ही 2 होगा ये मैं इसको वश में कर सकता हूँ। एक सेकंड।
I have to go now, sir. But
इसके
don't
बीवी से बात
hesitate
कर
to
रहा
contact
हूँ। I
me
think
if
इसकी
you need
बीवी
any
है।
help.
I'm all right. Don't waste your time with me.
Good evening, madam. Can I help you?
It's my son who needs
Okay,
you, sir.
बेटा है।
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. How can I help your son?
I'm Beatrice Goswick, mother of Mortimer Goswick. Could you check on him, please, Dr. Reid? I've heard much of your talents as a physician.
What can you tell me about yourself, Mrs. Goswick?
Not much to say. Just take care of my Mortimer and I'll cover all the expenses. That's all that matters.
एक सेकंड।
Don't waste your time with me. Good evening, sir. Doctor.
रिकॉर्डिंग कर। क्या? Are you that
Are you
rich?
really that rich? Most of the patients here are of a more humble origin, if I may say so.
Yes, thanks to my husband. May he rest in peace. I can cover any needed medical expenses.
नहीं भाई.
May I ask
So-
if you have an occupation, Mrs. Goswick?
I'm a teacher by profession. I teach young women who are more ambitious about their futures than their families.
What do you think of your reception here? Any complaints?
I have had the uttermost reservations about this hospital since we arrived. But we had no other choice, considering the state of emergency.
Is there something in particular that's bothering you?
Some of the staff were not especially welcoming. I suspect they're not accustomed to dealing with patients of such social standing.
Tell me more about your arrival at the Pembroke Hospital. What gave you such a bad first impression?
The ambulance driver was quite rude, for a start. And that nurse, Miss Hawkins, seems to have quite a dubious attitude.
What do you mean?
She managed to secure a bed for my son despite the epidemic. It was a relief, but it wasn't cheap.
Eva Hawkins. बेड के लिए उसने पैसे लिए.
She charged you for a bed?
Yes, and I paid without question, considering the urgency of the situation.
I share your concern, Mrs. Goswick. Be sure that I'll talk to the people involved.
I don't expect compensation, Dr. Reid. But I'm aware such behavior would not be tolerated in other hospitals.
पैसा ले रहे हॉस्पिटल वाले.
Goodbye, Mrs. Goswick.
हाँ भाई.
Good evening, Mr. Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'm sure you realize a doctor and his patient have to communicate, sir. Would it help if I gave you some paper and a pen?
Not really.
I see. Then maybe it's not just your throat that hurts, Mr. Goswick. Perhaps your sore throat is just the consequence of something more hurtful.
Yes, maybe. But I don't want to talk or even write about it now.
कुछ तो छुपा रहा है ऐसा लग रहा है ना.
Why did your mother have you hospitalized here? She seems convinced this is a bad hospital.
My mother just wants the best for me. She won't rest while I'm here. She'd go all the way to hell and back to help me.
Is your mother bothering you? As your doctor, I can ask her to leave you alone if you would prefer.
That's tempting, Doctor. But you have no idea what my mother is capable of. She would tie herself to my bed if you asked her to leave.
Pembroke Hospital may look unorthodox, but rest assured you're in good hands here.
It's not me you have to convince, Dr. Reid. It's my mother.
How painful is your throat, Mr. Goswick?
So painful I'd rather not talk at all, Doctor.
I'll let you get some rest then.
I'm alright. Don't waste your time with me.
ये अमीर है. फटीक इसको जरूरत है.
Good evening,
Doc
sir.
Edgar Swanson. यही ना एडगर स्वसन नहीं.
My sweet girl. Reading like a book. Never could keep anything from her.
बहुत जन बहुत कुछ देंगे. But यार blood temptation. Remember, citizen blood will provide you massive XP. Look for citizen of your memories level or below. Choose wisely. जो मतलब हमने एक डिसाइड किया है कि जो सच्ची में मतलब चलो आज तो पता डिसाइड कर लेते हैं. जिसको सच्ची में दवाई की ज़रूरत है हम उसी को हील करेंगे. ठीक है. और जिसको ज़रूरत नहीं है उसे हम नहीं करेंगे. और ये श्वसन कहाँ पे है?
Are going to reveal all your secrets to me.
ये हमको 6 देगा भाई, इसको बचाया तो।
Soul. They belong to you now.
The life running in your veins. This dead flesh needs it.
Oh, please spare me, Dark Reid. Spare your obedient slave.
नहीं, ये तो बाहर निकलने का रास्ता है। कहाँ पे गया वो? रैट इन हॉस्पिटल। भाई पैसे ले रहा है भाई, बेड की वगैरह के।
Effect on me. But the suffering continues.
बाहर है ना ये? बाहर है। हाँ भाई, एडगर स्वसन। अब वो कैसे पता चलेगा? एडगर स्वसन वो तो नहीं, इससे भी बात करनी है हमें, पर वो तो नहीं जिससे हमने चीजें खरीदी थी। याद आया। यहीं पे कहीं पे था ना वो। जिससे हमने चीजें खरीदी थी। वही। अंदर है क्या वो? ये कौन है?
Daily routine.
एक सेकंड, मैप देखने दो। कहाँ पे ये? पीछे की साइड है। यहाँ बाहर ना। पहले ना इससे बात कर। क्या भाई?
Good
क्या
evening,
तकलीफ
sir.
है?
Can I help you?
Unless you're here to fix my face. No. I don't think you can help me.
I'm Dr. Reid. I've recently taken the position of head surgeon here. War injuries, am I right?
You guessed right, Doctor. German shell took my pretty little mug right off. But they still call me Thomas Elwood.
Thomas Elwood. Yeah.
How is your stay with us, Mr. Elwood?
Oh, it's bliss. I just escaped death in the trenches to be surrounded again by the moans of the dying.
Can I ask you precisely why you're a patient here?
It's the pain, sir. The drugs don't work. It just hurts under the scars, if you get my drift.
Who is treating you? Is someone in particular looking after your case?
Nobody since the old and tired doctor spoke to me. Started to think I was forgotten about. Wouldn't blame you.
You don't seem worried by that.
My face hurts so much more when I smile or cry. I've learned it's easier not to speak. But be assured I'm smiling inside.
Can I do anything for your pain?
Nurses gave me a bunch of pills. No effect. Told you. It's like the flames are under my skin, burning away.
Where were you stationed, sir? Did you serve for long?
I really don't want to talk about all this shit.
No offense. I was pushing too much. I served in France myself. I just wanted to know what happened to you.
You were an officer, weren't you? Then I doubt we fought the same war, sir. No offense.
How close are you to Miss Horcroft? Are you aware that she thinks she is a vampire?
To wait for her next nibble is the best reason to stay here. Every time she approaches my bed, she treats me like something tasty.
Tasty.
A normal person.
Aren't you afraid? She may hurt you if the game goes too far.
She's quite harmless, I can assure you. Her head's broken inside is all. while I'm busted on the outside. But she's still beautiful. Living proof that there's hope for me.
ये उसके पैर में. Thomas Elwood. Okay.
So do you let her bite you? You know that's not sanitary.
And why not? She's only supping a few drops of my blood. And the pain, it's real for once.
She could decide to bite less willing patients.
Then it's another good reason for me to stay here, Doctor.
You do realize she's mentally disturbed. It's called the Cotard syndrome. She truly believes she's a vampire.
In her madness, she never refers to my scars. And frankly, if I could, I'd join her world. It seems much more fun than the real one.
गयो ये बंदा गया उसके पूरे पैर में डूब चुका है.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Elwood.
Fear and disgust on every street corner. Daily routine.
ये किसका कमरा है?
I cannot enter.
हमको कैसे बात करनी है? एडगर्स. कहाँ मिलेगा ये एडगर का बच्चा? डॉक्टर स्वानसी. अच्छा यही तो है डॉक्टर स्वानसी. मैं अपना एक्सपी पॉइंट छोड़ भाई.
Please, Jonathan, come in. Fascinating, is it not? In the last decade, so many mysteries have been brought to light with our microscopes. The human body, biology's penultimate frontier. The more we explore its boundaries, the less we're able to trace a clear line between life and death. You, my friend, have a foot in both countries. The view must be vertiginous.
It's at least as vertiginous as chatting about vampires with you, I would say.
This must be all so new to you. This area of town, the hospital, a brand new life. How stimulating it must be.
I wish I could share your enthusiasm, Dr. Swansea, but my condition defies scientific categorization. Undead? Unalive? Immortality defies logic.
I cannot express my thrill at this serendipitous turn of events. The world's most eminent specialist in blood transfusions, a vampire. One might say a gift from heaven.
Your words bring comfort. This is no gift. I am living paradox. This is no gift.
I'm a dead man. I was murdered. Now I'm a murderer. Tell me how this is a gift.
Forgive me. I've been an admirer of your work for a long time, and now you are so much more than a brilliant physician. And please, call me Edgar.
We need each other. No need of apologies. We need. This is not amusing. Amusing का meaning क्या है? भाई games अपनी vocabulary बढ़ा देती है. What is the meaning of amusing? Amazing नहीं.
Amazing.
Amusing. What is the meaning of amusing?
Meaning of amusing. Causing you to laugh or smile.
Manoranjak. This is not funny. Okay. No need to apologize. We need each other.
I'm not some doe-eyed student, Edgar. I understand we both have something to gain from this relationship.
Very well. I have a task for you, Jonathan. Something that will require all your newfound skills.
Please, go on.
The Pembroke only survives through the generosity of our benefactors. Unfortunately, our main donor has found herself in a bit of a bind. Now, if you could help her out...
A spokesman or politician is what you need. That's not my calling. And until I come to understand what has happened to me, I require discretion.
Discretion is in order, Jonathan. Lady Ashbury has recently received rather indelicate correspondence that, if revealed, would jeopardize her position.
And you would like me to eradicate this threat?
By the stole, of course not. I would just like you to pay her a visit. Her ladyship is certainly near the tents outside, tending the sick. You can't miss her. Look for someone impossibly delicate.
Accepted. I'll see what kind of trouble Lady Ashbury is in.
भाई तेरा क्या मैं पंटर हूँ जो तू मुझे सुपर देगा मैं उसको मार के आऊँगा वार्निंग लेटर पीपा हॉकिंस से भी बात करनी है हमें लेटर ऑफ राकेश झांडाना इसको तो देखना पड़ेगा Dear Dr. Susan, I will be glad manage the temporary morgue as soon as it's opened. I already told you I was a doctor during a war. एक और था ना एक और लेटर था ना अनफिनिश्ड लेटर था इसी लव ने लिखा है इसका क्या है Pembroke Hospital, my dear children, sorry I did not write. Warning letter. Dear Dr. Swesson, I must inform you of my. Arre? Dr. Thermosic land a Harvey Fiddick case. Mr. Fiddick has been hospitalized after a safe walk generally. He may permanently lose his arm if not treated adequately. Okay, Fiddick को ढूंढना पड़ेगा. Dr. Strickland claims that surgical procedure saved the man's arm completely. Seen navigation. राकेश चंदन बहुत कुछ नहीं जाना था बाहर बहुत कुछ मिला है रेयर स्पेसेस बहुत कुछ पता चला है अभी चलो पहले हम जाते हैं अपने रूम में ठीक है थोड़ा सा कुछ अपना हाल हुलिया बदलते हैं यार ये लॉक चेस्ट का बताओ यार बहुत सी चेस्ट है जो लॉक पड़ी है प्लीज बताओ क्या क्राफ्ट कर सकते हैं पट्टी एक और फटिक बना ले एक और फटिक बना लेते हैं मुझे पता है मैं होऊंगा सब पूरी फिल कर लेते हैं आओ जरा स्किल्स बढ़ाए तो हमें लास्ट टाइम ये लेना था ना टैक्टिकल शैडो ओविड You perform a supernatural move to your target and cause a damage upon landing. Toggle drain your stamina to fade into the shadows and become invisible to most enemies moving in the state. ये ले लेते हैं 500 लगेंगे 1300 भाई साहब पॉइंट्स भी नहीं है मेरे पास 1300 2000 300 दे सकता हूँ मैं एक सेकंड ब्लड इंक्रीज योर ब्लड कैपेसिटी बढ़ाओ भाई ब्लड कैपेसिटी बढ़ाओ बुलेट्स की जरूरत नहीं है अभी $500 स्टैमिना बढ़ाते ना 300 का 300 पॉइंट्स और स्पेंड कर सकते हैं ना इस पे स्पेंड करते हैं ठीक है 190 ठीक है कंफर्म और हमें बंदों को भी मारना पड़ेगा चलो
The flower's dying. It needs water.
वाटर कहाँ से दे अब डॉक्टर ट्रिबर्ट स्टिकर एंड आर्चरॉयड इनसे बात करनी पड़ेगी चलो मिल्टन बुक्स ये क्या हुआ बे
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. I'm new here.
I've already heard about you, Dr. Reid. I'm Milton Hooks, the ambulance driver for this shithole of a hospital.
That's quite a blunt introduction, Mr. Hooks.
You can call me Milton. I like to speak my mind, Dr. Reid. Perk of the job. Don't judge me, and I won't judge you.
I'm not sure I understand.
Rude है ये बहुत, जैसे उस lady ने कहा
Well, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure a gun can't be used as a surgical instrument.
You have a keen eye. I learned to shoot during the war, and have carried one ever since. Old habits die hard.
No need to explain, Dr. Reid. And if you ever need a better gun, remember, I may have something for you.
So what do you do exactly in this hospital? Apart from smuggling guns, I mean.
I've been an ambulance driver since... too long, I guess. I bring sick people here night and day. It's a dirty job, but I get it done. Most of the time.
Since you're on the front line, how is the sanitary situation in this vicinity?
It's a complete disaster. It's even getting dangerous to enter some streets or buildings. Even the locals attack you.
It sounds like things have been a bit rough recently. What's happened?
Yesterday I got attacked by the patient I was bringing here. I escaped through the hospital's garden, but I lost my wallet when I was running.
You left an infected patient outside the hospital? That's incredibly dangerous.
Go there yourself if you want, but be careful, Doctor. I'd rather not bring your dead body back.
Are you really smuggling weapons through the hospital?
And why not? I've already been attacked by patients, you know. And by gang members willing to steal my money.
But you're not defending yourself. You're selling guns to civilians.
You keep people alive your own way, Doctor. I offer them another way to protect their health.
How is the situation around here?
You want to hear the situation is all right? It's fucking awful. We lack everything, and it's getting worse every day.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in this hospital?
There are a lot of secrets round here. I'm not surprised someone tried to make money from them.
What kind of secrets?
I'm not in the gossip business, Dr. Reid. If you want to know more, you better talk to Harriet Jones. She's the oldest patient here.
Tell me why you're extorting money from some of the patients here.
If a patient wants a bed, he'll have to pay me a little fee. That's all.
Where did you get the idea for such an immoral scam?
Funny you should ask. The first time it was from a patient who bribed me to get a bed. It's only then I realized I could make a fortune.
I have some good news, Milton.
What? The epidemic's over?
I retrieved your wallet with all the money and a certain picture.
Well, yeah, Pippa Hawkins is my girl. So what? Is it the difference of skin color that bothers you?
Not at all, Milton.
Good. Please, take this money anyway. To remind you to keep your mouth shut. Not everybody is as broad-minded as you, Dr. Reid.
What's going on between you and Nurse Hawkins?
Pippa's tired. Tired of all this shit. Tired of all those corpses piling up. She's as depressed as I am.
During the war, I witnessed a few couples just like you come together in difficult circumstances. It can be very damaging.
Maybe you're right. But we support each other. And that's all that matters.
You do realize you could both get fired. Hospital staff are not meant to have intimate relationships with one another.
Come on, Dr. Reid. Do you know how many rules are broken in this hospital every day just to keep it running? There's nothing wrong with what we're doing.
Admit it. Nurse Hawkins is more than your lover. She's also your partner in crime.
Of course she is. How else could I tell which bed is free? I need to know that.
Have you no shame?
Don't you see this city is crumbling down? Today, people are ready to pay to get a hospital bed. Tomorrow, we may be fighting for food.
I'd like to see your goods.
Wise choice, Dr. Reid. A reliable gun is what everybody needs these days.
चलो भाई और वो उससे बात करे उसका प्लेस आ गया वो यही पे तो रहता है ना वो अंदर गया रहेगा हाँ भाई
Flu took my dear wife.
अरे ये तो वही है
I take comfort knowing we'll soon be together again.
Mr. Rainfield, that's no way to talk. You're in good hands here, and we'll be up again soon enough.
इसको हम ट्रीट करेंगे ये अच्छा आदमी लग रहा है
Now do me a kindness and get some sleep. I'll be back round later.
Your words are kind, the blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet lady of mercy.
Good evening, Dr. Reid. It's a pleasure to see you again. You seem surprised. Dr. Swansea has brought me up to speed concerning your recent appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
You're a the lady who saved me that night, before vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swansea.
Indeed. Allow me to introduce myself formally this time. My name is Lady Ashbury. I remember you well, in spite of the brevity of our encounter.
I feel played. Swansea fancies vampire. Fancies क्या होता है? Fancies. Meaning of fancies.
Meaning of fancy.
Fancies. Fancies. To like the idea having doing something. I'm glad to see you.
Apologies. You've taken me by surprise. I'm very happy to see you.
The pleasure is mine, Doctor.
I hope you're more disposed to answer my questions now.
You must have countless questions, but our rather urgent matter first. Swansea has explained. My cover, if you prefer, has been compromised.
Pardon my boldness, Your Ladyship, but I have questions concerning this condition we share.
As a newborn, your hunger for answers is rivaled only by your thirst for blood. But the questions need wait.
I'm a scientist. My trade is in the deciphering of mysteries, and I need information to feed my mind.
I will gladly answer every question you have, but first, prove yourself capable of resolving my predicament without eating the culprit.
Have any of the patients given you trouble?
These poor souls have so little left to live for. I do my best to ease their pain.
The world would be a better place if it were cared for by women like you.
You make me blush. I am simply a necessary evil.
Dr. Swansea has commissioned me to be your agent in this matter. You could start by explaining what's amiss.
These past insufferable weeks, I've been the victim of extortion.
Extortion for what?
I've made a first payment, but the blackmailer grows greedy. I must refuse his most recent demands.
ब्लैकमेल कर रहा है तुझे? तेरा कवर ब्लोन हो गया इससे कि किसी को पता चल गया कि तू वैम्पायर है।
Who would be so foolish as to threaten you? A kindred spirit.
Even if it were the case, and I highly doubt it, a vampire would have asked for something more valuable than money. My suspicions lean toward a patient or their family.
ऐसा भी तो हो सकता है जो ये स्वांसी है वही ब्लैकमेल कर रहा हो क्योंकि उसके पास अच्छी कोट है पैसा वगैरह भरपूर है उसके पास वो ऐसी सब चीज़ों से पैसे निकलवा रहा होगा दूसरी उसके पास क्रॉस है वैम्पायर से उसको कुछ खतरा नहीं है अगर इसने कुछ ठान भी लिया उसको कुछ करना तो
What are your expectations?
प्रॉब्लम नहीं होगा
Please be precise.
As the newly appointed surgeon of this hospital, you are in an excellent position to ask innocent questions and deftly learn the identity of my blackmailer.
Okay.
If we're dealing with an ordinary criminal, surely you've the means to deal with it yourself, if I may.
As immortal tradition doth dictate, all fangs and hypnotic eyes ablaze, the blood would run like a river. That's what I hope to avoid. Violence has a tendency to spiral out of control.
So basically, इसको violence नहीं पसंद.
Please continue. Every detail is essential. I'm your man.
My embarrassment in this matter is eclipsed only by my shame at having put the hospital at risk. The threat from our anonymous scoundrel is clear. A list of dates. My visits coinciding with the dates of suspicious patient deaths due to massive blood loss.
Is it true?
Is it true?
Now aren't you the blunt one?
Excuse my impertinence, Your Ladyship. This is not an interrogation. I assure you that this line of questioning is in your best interest.
In all honesty, I'm not simply a patron to the hospital. My visits serve a dual purpose. Dr. Swansea has been treating my condition with a revolutionary technique of blood transfusion. It seems you are a specialist in the domain.
I'll take care of it. Do you know where I should start?
If that was the case, I'd settle the matter myself. You could talk to our local gossip, Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing about it.
I'll meet that woman now.
My life, as others know, is in your hands, Dr. Reid. I'm sure of your discretion, but I do fear your powers of persuasion will be put to the test. When this is resolved, I'll be your obligé. I'll answer all questions in regards of your condition.